Sharon Rainey is a writer, a community activist, entrepreneur, and Lyme survivor. In 2001, Sharon created an online network in her local community of Great Falls, Virginia. In 2004, she expanded into other communities, and today it is known as myneighborsnetwork.com. In 2004, she started a 501c3 nonprofit organization called Neighbors Foundation, and its primary project is sending care packages to the troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. In 2009, after over a decade of suffering, Sharon was finally diagnosed with Bartonella and Babesia, co-infections of Lyme disease. She has been an advocate for Lyme disease awareness ever since. Sharon is passionate about inspiring people to see the profound impact of connecting with one another, as evidenced by her life work. She writes about the miracles, big and small, that happen as a result of our willingness to open up our hearts and share our journeys with each other. Sharon is a co-author of the soon-to-be released book, Lyme Savvy, now on pre-sale. She is also the author of Making a Pearl from the Grit of Life, and another book, The Best Part of My Day, A Healing Journal, which is hot off the press this weekend for you all. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Sharon Rainey.
Okay, so you just got the half-hour version of my monthly appointment with Dr. Mosiani. So if your heads are swimming, that's normal. Dr. Mosiani and I have become great friends through this treatment process. And I always tell him, you know, he'll start explaining, he'll show me a slide like that with the T3 and the T4, and it's all basic biology. And I'm like, I missed those courses in college. I was an English major, so it's, for me, I let him do the medical stuff and I work on the other part. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. I know Robin just gave me a very glowing introduction. So I'm a wife, been married 25 years, mother of 3. I have a business that I own and a foundation that I created. Wrote on a national column for a magazine for 3 years. I do call myself a Lyme disease warrior. I do think it's something that we fight. I've authored 3 books, and I'm the owner of 4 Cavalier King Charles dogs. Thank you. So if you know what they are, you know why I put it there. So that's my politically correct list, okay? That's what most people would tell you. But this is why there are some things about you about me that you need to know, so that you know that I know what we're talking about and what we deal with on a daily basis. So, I've suffered from depression, and I had suicidal ideation as young as the age of 10. In my teens, I was molested. I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic with 28 years of continuous sobriety utilizing a 12-step program. I survived and left an abusive marriage. I am an introvert who struggles every day to be present in my family, in my community, and in this world. I have a chronic illness, and I am determined to heal on a daily basis in some form or facet. I was a victim, I am a survivor, and I am thriving. Okay, that was kind of heavy, right? So here are my 3 Cavalier King Charles dogs. The old one can't jump on the couch anymore, but that's what I come home to every day. And sometimes that's the best part of my day. And I think part of what I wanted to share with you is that, especially when I was an active alcoholic and addict, I had secrets. I had secrets every day from everybody I knew. And one of the biggest gifts that I got in this life was transparency. I don't have any secrets anymore. It doesn't matter to me if you go and tell every person you know the list that I just gave you, because most of my friends already know it. And I think that's a huge part of the healing that I've gotten. Okay, this is our son, Stephen. And he's kind of a big part of this story. So I just wanted to show you, because I think he's really cute. I showed him these slides this week, and he's like, oh, God, Mom. He's 23 now, so he's... So this was him when he was 4 years old. And the reason why Stephen's part it was important to this story is because this is where I got the title and the idea for the book that I wrote that helped me with the other part of the healing. And that is when he would get home from school, he'd get in the car from the bus stop, and I'd say, "How was your day?" And he would tell me all the awful stuff that happened. And this was elementary school. He suffered from depression too. And I got tired of it. And so I said, "Okay, what was the best part of your day?" So for the first few days, I got lunch and recess. So after a while, I said, "Okay, you can't say lunch and you can't say recess. You've got to find something else." And he would, he'd start to tell me some things. And what I noticed was he then realized that throughout the day, he had to start looking for something to be able to tell me when he got in the car about what the best part of his day was. And there was an attitude shift for him. And it made a difference for him. And it made a difference for us. So at dinner, we would start asking each other, "What was the best part of your day?" And there were a lot of positive conversations that ensued as a result of that. So that carries over to, we're going on vacation. We're heading to Emerald Isle, South Carolina, to the beach. Hurricane hits. No, we can't leave early because we'd lose our deposit on the place. We had to stay 24 hours, then they call it. So we're evacuating with the rest of the world. And so where are we going to go for 4 days? So we end up in Williamsburg. So my husband does historic restoration as a living. That's his passion. And so he is so pumped. He is so ready to show Stephen the silversmithing and the barrel making and the brick making, and this is going to be so much fun, and he's going to learn so much. So we get through the 4 days, and we're riding home, and I said, "Okay, Stephen, what was the best part of the vacation?" "Running down the middle of the road, catching raindrops on my tongue." And Jess says, "What?" But it showed me you just never know what that best moment or that best part of the day is going to be. And if you aren't looking for it, you will never find it. And who am I to judge? Okay, we wanted him to learn something or to enjoy certain aspects. But honestly, every time I give this and say, "Running down the middle of the road, catching raindrops on my tongue," that's precious. So, what does that have to do with healing? In 2009, I was diagnosed with these conditions. And these are co-infections of Lyme disease as well as the Lyme disease. This face might look familiar. He's the first physician. I visited at least 30 that I can recall. He's the first and only physician who could give me one explanation for 30 years of symptoms. And what I found is that he's amazing at taking care of the physical things. He gives me the meds, the supplements, he tells me what to do, and he gets me well physically. He explained to me that it's going to be a process. And a lot of times it's going to feel like 3 steps forward and 2.5 back. And the process is grueling. In fact, if you don't feel badly enough, you're not going to want to take the treatment. And he's right. But I said I wanted to do it. And we agreed on a plan. But at the second meeting, he says to me, "How's your prayer and meditation going?" And I said, "You're not my priest. You're my doctor. What does that have to do with healing?" And he very calmly says, "Having some quiet time gives you a good opportunity to maybe listen and hear some answers that you might need to hear." And that's all he said. It was just one statement. But that was the way that our relationship developed. Okay, I'm going to get teary, and it's okay. And I put this picture up because this is Dr. Mosiani's wife and daughter. And they sent this picture to me the night that my dad was in the hospital. It was the night before my birthday. And I stayed overnight with Dad to make sure he didn't die on my birthday, which he didn't. But the fact that Dr. Mosiani sent me this picture at 10:27 at night, knowing what I was doing, tells you what kind of special physician he is. Okay, I'm back on track now. So going through treatment is a grueling process, and I wasn't very nice to be with sometimes, as a few people in this room can attest to. And so one day, it had been a particularly bad day in treatment, and Stephen came home and he says, "How was your day?" And I went on and said, "My feet hurt, I can't get out of bed, I'm so tired, I can't focus." And he looks at me and he cocks his head and he smiles and he goes, "Well, Mom, what was the best part of your day?" And so the tables had turned. And I realized he was right, that if I was going to heal and be in a healing mode, I needed to look for those best parts of the day. And so these are the best parts of my day. And usually it's with my family or friends doing things that we love. And I noticed that healing happens when I spend time with the people that I love, doing things that I love. And I noticed how important it is to look for the best part of the day. So I've been married 25 years, and it has not always been pleasant. And we've had some tough times. Our son almost died at birth. My husband had a heart attack a few years ago. All three of us have had Bartonella and gone through treatment. We've survived economic recession, but we're both self-employed. All of our parents have had some sort of major event. We had a nephew die by suicide at age 16. And again, our fathers died 15 months apart. That one's still fresh. And so I learned you don't necessarily find a good part of any day. Some days just suck. But there is always a best part. And that's what you have to look for. So the best part for me is when we have loved. And I found that there were certain places where I found love. And that was rest, because that's loving yourself, laughter, helping others, seeing kindness, nourishing your body, mind, and soul, prayer and meditation, and the last two are probably the biggest ones in my opinion, forgiveness and gratitude. So for me, I call it the Lyme brain. I can't remember anything. So I have to write everything down. And so for me, it was important that, first of all, I have to see that love, and then I have to acknowledge the love, and then I have to participate in the love. And for me, the acknowledgement was I needed to write it down because I couldn't remember anything. If you asked me what the best part of my day was 3 days ago, I couldn't tell you offhand. It's just, that short-term memory sucks. So Dr. Bernie Siegel wrote a book called 365 Prescriptions for the Soul. And he said in there, the greatest truth I know about life is that love is the answer. And I agree. If you ask me what the question is, I will tell you it is every question you could ever ask. And he said, love is always the answer to every question and every problem. I got to talk to him on the phone one time. I asked him for permission to use his quote in the book that I'm selling next door. And he says, "Is this Sharon Rainey?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Hey, this is Bernie Siegel." and I'm flustered. And he said, well, I just figured it was easier to give you a call than to shoot you an email, but I'll shoot you an email so you have a paper trail saying I gave you permission. And he said, but I think this is a really great idea, and I think you're onto something really big. And I just want to say, go for it. And so that was the best part of that day, by the way. So what I found is that love is the answer, no matter what. Love conquers all, and love heals. Period. It's really simple. I know some of you in your head are saying it's not that simple. It's that simple. And that's why I gave you my real list of who I am, so that you know I'm not up here giving you a bunch of malarkey. So 2 things when I'm trying to choose what to do every day. I ask myself 2 questions. 1, will this help me heal? So if somebody says, do you want to go to the mall? My answer is no. Going to the mall doesn't help me heal, okay? And the second question is, will it bring me joy? This does not get you out of doing the laundry, okay? I know laundry doesn't, help you heal, and it doesn't bring you joy. There are some things we just have to do. But if you can figure out what you're going to do on a daily basis based on these 2 questions, it simplifies things tremendously. And it just makes it to a core response for you. So let me just review that big list that I gave you in the beginning about things that I think are really important to do on a daily basis. 1 is therapeutic rest, and this is, I think this is important for patients, especially because we're so fatigued and we always feel like we should be doing something, and we beat ourselves up, and I've got to lie down. Okay, so this is called healing time, not just rest time. This is called healing time because you have to get your head level with your heart for at least 30 minutes, and that gives your body and your brain the ability to actually get the blood flowing and to give you that time to sort of get regenerated. What else helps us laugh? What helps us heal? Laughter. This is my mom. She was making funny faces, and I was in hysterics. We were trying to take a selfie. And this is my dad at my sister's wedding a couple of years ago. And so I think it's important to try and laugh for 30 minutes every day. My favorites, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Big Bang Theory, Carol Burnett's show. I got on and watched all the outtakes from Whose Line Is It Anyway on YouTube. Hysterical. But I think laughing for 30 minutes is really important. And I can tell you that both after my nephew died by suicide and after my dad died, I didn't think I could do anything. And laughing 30 minutes every day was huge. It was huge. It was hard. It was hard, but it was huge. Okay, helping others. It gets me outside of myself. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to cost money. It can be as simple as just listening to a friend. I have literally had a friend call me and sob on the phone for 20 minutes, and all I did was listen to her. And she says that was one of the greatest gifts I could give her. The only 2 restrictions on helping others is if it's to your detriment, you may not do it. Okay, some of us tend to give to others too much and not to ourselves enough. And just because you can help someone doesn't mean you should. I'm still learning this one. Sometimes there's a lot of drama involved in helping somebody. Probably not something you need to be involved in. Seeing kindness. And I think this can be just witnessing kindness between 2 people that you're not even related to. I think there's probably a lot of kindness happening in this conference, but also offering kindness or being a recipient of it. I think all 3 ways are healing in their own mode. Nourishment of your body, mind, and soul. Obviously, that's a lot of what this conference is about. Anything you put into your mouth is going to hopefully nourish you. Nourishing your mind, it can be by writing, reading, TV, going out as a group, meetings. Different things work for different people. And nourishing your soul, and that can be something as simple as listening to the breeze on an autumn afternoon, or calling and talking to the 2-year-old on the phone. What else helps us heal? Prayer and meditation. Okay? And some people pray, some people meditate, some people do both. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is that you're giving your energy this space and opportunity to open, to listen, and to share. Okay, this is the big one. Second big one. Forgiveness. Okay, so you remember my real list I gave you, right? So you know that I have things that probably some of us took years to forgive people or things for. It took me years to forgive some people. Let me backtrack on that a little bit. Let's talk about the little forgiveness first, because that's easier. My goal is to have you let somebody off the hook today. It can be the guy who cut you off in the parking lot. It can be the checkout clerk who's too slow. It can be the annoying person in front of the table that you want to get to today. Anybody. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to say, hey, I let you off the hook today. Okay? Just say it inside. Okay? All right? But, you know, it's helpful. It lets go. It's just negative energy that helps you let go. Okay? And then this was a hard one for me. I still remember I was in an AA meeting, and I was but righteous indignation about something. I was so mad about something, and I'm right. And this old timer takes off his glasses. He was about 60 years old. And he goes, well, Sharon, you have a choice. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? I said, I want to be both. He said, that's not the choice. You want to be right, or do you want to be happy? And this has freed me up. I cannot underscore this enough. So you can be right, or you can be happy. But forgiveness is tremendous. Strong emotional pain has a profound effect on the body, and I think most of us already know that. When you can release some kind of negative emotion that has such a deep, embedded place in your soul, when you release it, it's amazing. It's a gift. It's a gift. I think that it holds you hostage when you're that angry or that bitter or that hurt. So I found out that the Aramaic word for forgive means to untie, and I love that visual. I love it, because I'm the one who can untie. I'm the one with the power, not whomever or whatever. It's me. I'm the one who has the choice these days. Forgiveness does not mean I approve or condone of what happened. This is so big for me. I do not approve or condone of what happened. But I can still forgive that person for the transgression. And I think that's the fastest way away from the negative energy and into the positive. And it lets me walk away. It doesn't bind me to that person or that event or that place. And last but not least, I think gratitude. If you're in a 12-step program, you're going to say, great, another gratitude meeting. Okay, but I do think it's essential. I think that when you don't have a feeling of gratitude, you can't be in a healing mode. You have to find the gifts somewhere. Even when I was by my dad's bedside, the amount of love in that room was amazing, and it was tangible, and it was a gift. We had 4 women, my 2 sisters and my mom and I, going through something that we never thought, honestly, we would be going through yet, and it happened quickly and unexpectedly, and we were able to be there for each other and with each other. And yes, it was a horrible experience with the end product, but what came out of that was so amazing and so beautiful. And so I think we thrive with positive energy, and I think we die with negative energy. And that's why it's important for me to live in the positive energy. And so, what's going to be the best part of your day today? Is that going to be who made you laugh? Who did you spend time with? What brought you joy? And who did you help, or who helped you? And a few things to remember. Love connects us. Love brings us together. And love always conquers. And this picture my son took the summer after my nephew died on the back deck of his house at my sister's house that summer. And that heart was only there for an instant, but it was definitely for us. We knew love is the answer, no matter the question. And I go back to when we have loved, that's the best part of the day and every day. And that's how you help yourself heal and how I help myself heal. And those are the books. Lyme Savvy should be out within the next month. Best part of my day literally is hot off the presses. We got them in the mail yesterday, day before yesterday. And Making the Pearl from the Grid of Life is my first book. And there's my contact information.